Welcome to 1944. Let's have a look at what we're going to be doing in we review 1943 and also look at what we're going to do in 1944. That's the first thing I do. Review 43 and then a bit about managing the difficulties. This has kind of been said before, but let's just repeat it. Order of battle, that what I used to call that core composition. I guess that's a more correct term. A bit about the kills by unit, so by individual units and our total losses in 43. And kills summed up over the unit classes as well, and also the accumulated kills by unit class. So these are annual and these are accumulated. A bit about the experience earned by each unit. That's also a standard presentation that I do after every year. But this one is a little bit has not been done before. But I wanted to have a look at how the infantry gained experience during 1943. Remember, it's a key issue, and I've been working very hard for 1943 to get especially Südkurs and Ellerberger up to snuff. Also, we take a look at the prestige curve. We do that every year, and some ideas about what we're going to do in 1944. 43. Well, we all know 43 is much harder than 42, and which is much harder than 39 to 41. 39 to 41, I usually refer to that as kindergarten. It's really easy. Then it gets significantly harder in 42, culminating with the Stalingrad battles and especially Tatsinskaya, which is just before we get our Tigers, much needed at Tatsinskaya. And then in 43 it gets upped even further. So it was a difficult year we went through. Again, the difficulty level Rommel-Manstein-Field Marshal feels like playing on Manstein. But I am being very careful with the prestige management, so I'm taking fewer losses. You can also see that from the previous years. And let's also have a look at what it looks like in 43. We are deliberately getting more kills on units that are not Stukas, because we need to focus on XP and kills on especially XP on units that are not Stukas. The Stukas are doing great and they do only what's necessary. But as you also saw in 43, they are absolutely necessary for winning the battles. But whenever I can, I don't go in and get the kill with a Stuka. We have a lot of our battles have improved tactics. In some cases, just minor tweaks. Often just minor tweaks, such as Prokhorovka, for example, doing very much similar to what I used to do for Prokhorovka, but getting faster rid of the enemy air defenses and also capturing the objective to the east with a much smaller force than I used to. So Prokhorovka was maybe the biggest improvement we saw. But also, for example, Kremenchuk, I realized I could farm a lot, and farming really has been a key issue throughout the whole campaign, or key tactics, because experience is the biggest problem we're facing. You can say, isn't it? I'll get to that on the next slide. But experience and Manstein, it's the Field Marshal and Manstein combo that really, it doesn't kill us, but it makes it difficult for us. Rommel like I can handle. I'll get to that on the next slide. Yeah, farming. We farm whenever we can, and you saw in some of the battles I even had several infantry units. For example, in Kremenchuk, I had several infantry units not participating in the actual fighting, but just farming. Kremenchuk was the most extreme, but we also had it at Prokhorovka and at Boyan, for example, where Südkurs and Ellerberger did not participate at all, and they even had a level bomber help them. So it's the improved tactics allow doing it with fewer units, so we can also allocate units to farming. That's important, because Field Marshal is a big problem. And I have a particular focus on Infantry XP farming. I did not expect that I would get Südkurs and Ellerberger to 4 stars and by the end of 43, but I did expect to get all my all other infantry units above 4 stars, and I did achieve that objective. And essentially these two guys have been farming in every battle. Not always, not in every case, both of them, but I mean, they farmed at Prokhorovka, for example, and they farmed at Ruboyan, which are two hard battles. So very important, because they are, you cannot bring inexperienced units into 45. I don't think they'll get to 5 stars is still within reach for these guys, but not for hits an hour. 4 stars is possible for hits an hour. Something about managing the difficulties here. Rommel, as we all know, it's you are how should we say, the game is pretty generous with prestige, as long as you don't kill yourself with a soft cap. So you can earn, even with Rommel, you can earn a lot of prestige until the soft cap becomes a problem. So it's not really a problem in the long term, but it is a big problem initially. Maybe in the first 5 battles. Well, 39, half of 39, it's a problem. It really prevents us from facing in new units, but that's also prevented by Field Marshal. We just need to manage the prestige. That is, we build up a prestige pool so that we can burn when the soft cap, after the soft cap has killed us. So it's a known solution how to manage Rommel. It's not a big problem. I would say that if you're playing the campaign, just play it on Rommel. It's not a challenge, as long as you don't go absolutely crazy with spending. It's okay. It's going to be okay. Manstein. So Rommel is not really an issue. Manstein is definitely an issue. Always has been. It is hard to play against Manstein units. And it's a continual problem that initially, remember, the Manstein units were so aggressive that they would start attacking us, which we solved with dual artillery traps, but it's always a problem. We need overstrength to be able to deter units, but we also need experience. You can say that they kind of go together. You need to be able to deter the Soviet tanks. You cannot have the Soviet tanks smash into your front lines and do heavy damage to your tanks. It's not going to happen. Not when we play at this difficulty level. We need to stay in control and make sure that whatever happens because we want it to. Field Marshal. Initially, I was not sure how big a deal this would be, and definitely initially it is not a problem, because we don't have any experience anyway. But it becomes relatively fast in 39. It becomes a problem that we're getting less XP. So, but you combine that with Rommel, and meaning that we don't really have the prestige to face in a lot of new units anyway. Remember, throughout 39 we want to have most of our units faced in. But Field Marshal is definitely a much bigger problem now than Rommel is. Is it a bigger problem than Manstein? No, I would say that the combination here is the problem. We need to be able to overstrength to deter the enemy, and to do that we need experience. So experience and overstrength. And you saw for example, in the Kiev battle, I was perfectly aware that I could not present 3-star tanks to the IS-1s. So I had my 4-star tanks do that with the overstrength. And it's just, it shows you how much experience matters. And you really need those 4-star tanks to be able to do it. The way we handle Field Marshal, as well, is that we rotate our units, so we make sure that we get our units that need to see action come into action, but also we of course use experience farming to a crazy extent. Order of battle, as you can see here, we have it hasn't really changed since the beginning of 43, except we have now in our new SC tanks that are already force loaded will be a Tiger. A big surprise will be commanded by Raider. That was requested by, I think it was Murphy who requested it. But I told him that I wasn't sure. I needed to see whether somebody else would occupy that command, but nobody wanted it, so Raider gets it. And you can see what we have otherwise. These are all the units have been purchased, and except we still need to get, let's see here, we have Oh crap, where are they? We have Barkhorn and Bats and Hartman. These two guys joined very late. Barkhorn is joining us very soon, and I really need to get him up to snuff. I'm not sure. Can I get him to 5 stars? I hope. Also, we have, of course, Leechke here, and we have Hits now joining us. I don't think these two guys can make it to 5 stars, but 4 stars I would say is realistic. A bit about kills by unit and or kills by individual units. It's unit, it should say, and our total losses. We can see here. You can see throughout 43 is the new one that's added. That's the this orange color. You can see Sulkos and Ellerberger more than 600 kills throughout 43. That means something like more than 60 per battle. That's pretty good. Friedrich Pine even more kills. So you can say, why are you farming then? Well, it's safer to have them farm, so they don't have to sit in the front and they also get more XP out of it. At least I think they do. But Friedrich Pine actually took quite a lot of kills as well. Wiensberger as well, and you can see that they're just generally catching up towards the 2000 mark, which I think is where most of them will end. Some of them will end well above, of course, Ole Deer. But Sulkos and Ellerberger have definitely been a focal point for 43 farming. You can also see our tanks, a lot of kills on them as well. Murphy, I think, tops it, and he also should, because he's the one who has just joined us, and he's been very focused on farming. And artillery, not that interesting. I think they should end. Most of them should end above 2,000 kills. They definitely have, as I will also show, they have more kills than they have for my Manstein playthrough. Miscellaneous units, what's to say about them? Lots of kills, I guess you can say. And also, of course, the A units, you can see the other guys can't keep up with Rodel anymore, but that will also be a tall order to do that. The level bombers don't have that many kills, and that's a design flaw, if you ask me, that they made the heroes depend on kills. You'll never get 30 heroes on them. You might get a second hero by accident on these guys. The fighters have fewer kills than the AA guns, as far as I can tell. Yeah, they have. So now Novotny killed more than Bumper. So Novotny and Kittel, of course, killed more than the rest, because they need to catch up. And we also kill a lot with AA. We prefer that because we don't want to go fighter on fighter. You can see a positive surprise here. We had in both 42. In fact, in all the years, we have fewer casualties on this difficulty that we had on Manstein. That is a surprise. I think it's simply because I've gotten better at it, and I've also been, due to the higher difficulty level I'm playing at here, I'm very aware that I can't afford these casualties that I took on Manstein. On Manstein, I often took casualties without being concerned about it, because it didn't matter. But here you can see 43, we are down to 46 casualties total. That's 46 points lost, whereas at 79, so we've almost halved it. And Rommel, of course, was a lot higher than 43. But here it's a combination of having optimized the battles more, and also being more wary that I can't afford the casualties. Kills by unit class, so that's integrated over each unit class, summed up, as you would call it here. You can see these you have seen before. 43 is the new one, and you can see that Rommel-Manstein-Field Marshal Infantry, a lot more kills than we had on Manstein, even though it's the same kind of enemy we're facing. Also the tanks killed more. The only disappointing one is the anti-tank guns for 43. They didn't kill that much. But I'm not too concerned with them. They have been doing really well, and I think they will get above 2,000 kills in total for the anti-tank guns. Also, more kills with artillery, a lot more kills with artillery. That's a good thing, because it just shows that the artillery is a lot more active than it was at the Manstein level. And you can also see, of course, that our AA is killing more and our Stukas are killing less. that is intentional, and this is because of the field marshal effect. We need to make sure that the Stukas don't just sit and gobble up all the kills. Relative, I don't have much to say about that. Accumulated kills by unit class. That's accumulated over each year, and you can see this is the accumulated in 39, accumulated in 40, 41, 42, 43. You can see that the previous one was just by year, but this is the accumulated that we've killed after 43, and you can see this is I should say 10k down here. So we've killed with the infantry, we've killed like 15,000 in total here at Rommel-Manstein-Field Marshal, whereas Manstein was maybe around 12,000. So distinctly higher total number of kills with the infantry and with the tanks and with the artillery. Roughly the same with the anti-tank guns, a little bit more with the AA, and distinctly less with Stukas. Sorry Stukas, but you need to give way to the others because they need to gain XP. And I don't have any. The Stukas don't earn my sympathy. They get so many kills, and they don't take any risks. So, but I mean, make no mistakes. We can't do it without the Stukas. I just don't want them taking all the kills. Fighters actually less kills than accumulated than we had at Manstein, but it's partly because I'm taking more of the AA. Experience by unit. So that's broken down into the individual units, and you can see I'm showing also the numbers here. You can see Sukus and Allerberger. Allerberger earned 235 XP during 43. That's really a lot, considering that we played on Field Marshal. He's almost 4 stars. I think he's like 377. So getting these two guys to 4 stars, if I can do that and then have them smooth sailing towards to 5 stars by the end of 45, or when we reach Berlin, I'll be very happy. Friedrich Pine made it above 4 stars. He didn't earn as much XP as the others, but these guys have really been boosted. And you can see the others have earned distinctly less XP, but they have gotten above 4 stars, all of them, and that's important. If you look at the XP gain per year, it looks doable to get infantry lifted to 5 stars by the end of the campaign, especially because we have longer battles throughout. The battles are generally longer now, and they also involve more enemy units, so we should get more kills and XP. I hope I can get at least the vast majority above 5 stars. For the tanks, you can see Murphy almost earned 3 stars during 1 year. That's really remarkable. I did not expect this, so it really shows you can really boost a tank if you put your mind to it. The others are Broderick just getting close to 4 stars, and also Victor very close. I think it's 397, and the others are above. These are the 4-star units, and these are the ones that take the difficult protection jobs. And I think we definitely get these guys above 5 stars, these 4. Broderick, I am not so sure. Murphy, definitely not. Murphy will only get to 4 stars. Cash will get to 5 stars. Rondorf, I also think. Leachke, 4 stars is where he will end, I expect. Artillery, I don't have anything to say about that. It's pretty uninteresting because of the imbalance in the XP gain. For the miscellaneous units, you can see they're all above 4 stars now, which is great. And for the anti-tank guns, I don't have any concerns because they will be able to earn a lot of XP throughout the first half of 44 as in artillery mode. And I don't have any worries about them. I also think these guys will be able to make it to 5 stars. If you look at the XP gain, it looks doable. For our level bombers, some of them already 5 stars now. So again, that's just the stupid imbalance in the XP gain. And also, of course, for the tech bombers and for the fighters, Barcon is questionable as at 5 stars. I don't know yet. And let's also have a look at what the infantry accomplished during 1943 in experience, because I was very focused on infantry XP farming. If you look at the yeah, which one should we take first? If you look at each battle, you can see what the individual infantry units gained. And you can of course especially note that Sutkus took more than 100 XP at Orel, where he farmed the Katusha. Allerberger also took a lot of XP in, but not as much as Sutkus. I was focused on Sutkus first because he has Allerberger has better bonuses than Sutkus has, so Sutkus needed to be boosted. You can see they're showing up in every battle, Sutkus and Allerberger. Perhaps not Kursk Armory South for Sutkus, but Allerberger farmed the Katusha. So whenever there's a Katusha to farm, it shows up. So you can see Sutkus and Allerberg have been farming like crazy throughout 43, and that's also why they have earned. They're close to, both of them are close to 4 stars. I'm very happy with that. I was very concerned about it. You can also see if we take our Kremenchuk battle here. That's where we farmed naval units, and you can see a lot of our infantry earned more than 100 XP. Sorry, more than 20 XP throughout that. Well, close to. We had who's this? That's Zoro earned more than 20 XP. We also had a Mjölner and a Ponce didn't earn much because he was in the front line together with Wiensberger and Friedrich Pine. But you can also see that in Kiev we did actually earn quite a lot because the infantry, especially the grenadiers, were killing tanks in close defense zones, and that's a good sign. We want that. We want them to kill tanks in close defense zones when we can. You can also see if we look at our total infantry XP gain per battle. Here you can see at Orel, for example. Before Orel we didn't have Sutkus and Allerberg, but at Orel our total XP gain for infantry was a little bit more than 180, but you can also see that most of it was Sutkus and Allerberger. So if we filter for Sutkus and Allerberger, that's the red one, you can see that it's more constant, except that it shoots up quite significantly at Kremenchuk, because we farmed naval units at Kremenchuk, but also at Kiev. That's quite significant. Here's for these two battles, Sutkus and Allerberger actually took less than our other infantry units. That's a good sign. If we get a lot of XP by killing tanks in close defense zones, I'll be very happy. Our prestige curve, you can see it's been sitting below, like 20% below Rommel consistently, and that's still where we are. And if we project it, we end up something like this, and then towards the end we burn a lot of prestige on really unnecessary upgrades. The flying wing fighter and the Arado bomber are not strictly necessary. I do like to get the big level bomber at the end, but I think we're going to be fine. I will still be a little bit cautious with the prestige and definitely avoid taking heavy casualties. I avoid that always because I don't want to get to a situation where I will have to make tough decisions about prestige. Some ideas for 1944. We don't expect that it'll be difficult to win the battles, but we know there are some tough battles, especially the return to Kishinev battle is the hardest battle in the campaign. I'm really looking forward to it, also dreading it. I want to get Sutkus and Allerberger to 4 stars as fast as possible and then just stop farming, because I cannot have them farm together with Hetznauer. Hetznauer will do the farming. Him and Lichka, whenever I can find an opportunity to gain XP on these two guys, I will do it. I cannot go into 45 with these two guys underexperienced. So I'll farm when possible, but focused on these two guys, and I'll stop farming with Sutkus and Allerberger when I can. I also want to ensure that we have that the most experienced tanks are on track to reaching 5 stars, and I will just be looking at the XP gain that we get on them, and to ensure that I can project them at 5 stars before we hit Berlin. Also, kill farming with fighters, I haven't done that for a very long time, but I'm going to try and see if I can get Barkhorn into doing that, both kill and XP farming with Barkhorn. XP farming is not that hard, you can do it with by strafing, but I want to see if I can find some cases where fighters fly to airfields where I can fly in and farm them, or enemy units flying to airfields where I can farm them. I haven't done that for a while. I don't think I've done it for quite a long time. Remember the biggest No, that was actually Belgrade. That was with our AA guns. But doing this, finding a fighter who flies to an airfield and then flying in or finding in an enemy air unit, I will try and do that if I get a chance in 44, or if I get chances. And then of course the soft cap, yeah. The trick with the soft cap is that you know you're gonna get killed by it, and just prepare yourself for that eventuality. Or well, it's not an eventuality; it's gonna happen, and just make sure you have piled up prestige. Never fall for the temptation to try and get a good soft cap in the later campaign. You'll never be able to be able to pay for the casualties that you will take when you go with a better soft cap. It's just they made replacements so expensive that it's just if you ask me, this is just the whole thing is just idiotic in the design. And the way we deal with it is we save up a prestige pool, and then we burn it when the soft cap after the soft cap has killed us. Thank you for watching, and I will return to preparing the Kursun pocket.